It's so wonderful to see a full church as we come together to give thanks and praise to our God for the wonderful things that His Son did for us. So we want to make sure that you always feel welcome when you come here at Holy Rosary. So if you're a new parishioner or a visitor from another parish from out of town, we hope you'll come back and that you always feel welcome when you come to worship with us here at Holy Rosary. Now, early one morning, a man was standing in front of a shop in Edinburgh, Scotland, and looking at a large painting in the shop window. Suddenly, a little boy appeared and started to explain the picture to him. The boy said, "That's Jesus on the cross, sir. They nailed him there. That lady there is his mother, the one who's crying. She's crying because of what they did to her son. Way over there in the back is the tomb where they're going to bury him." He went on to explain all the other people and things in the picture. All the while, the man stood there silently, just listening. When the boy had finished, the man was so choked up, he was unable to speak. He patted the boy on the head and walked away with tears in his eyes. Seconds later, the boy came running up and pulled at the man's coat sleeve and said, "It's okay, sir. Don't cry. I forgot the most important part. Jesus rose from the dead and is stronger and more powerful than before they nailed him to that cross." This story expresses why we've all come to this church. We've come to celebrate an incredible event, the resurrection of Jesus from the dead. By resurrection, I don't mean resuscitation. That is, I don't mean the return of Jesus to the very same life he had before he died. Like, say, the daughter of Jairus, or the son of the widow of Nain, or even Lazarus. They had to die a second time. You see, the body of Jesus that was buried was nothing like the body that was raised, because that body was a glorified body. A glorified body like you and I are looking forward to having at the end of time. Now, we have come here to celebrate not only the incredible transformation of Jesus, but also the incredible transformation of his followers. The Jews believed in one God. The Jewish rebel leader during the Second Revolt, Flavius Josephus, who turned into a Roman historian, wrote, "One temple for the one God." You see, the Jews honored Abraham and Moses, but they never would have suggested that either was the Son of God. Yet, after watching Jesus' cruel death, the disciples did just that. So strong was their faith that Jesus was the Son of God that in the months and years ahead, many of them would die rather than deny this fact. This brings us to the grace that Jesus wants to give to each of us here today. It's the grace to be transformed. It's the grace to begin new lives. It's the grace to love again after having our love rejected. It's the grace to trust again after having been betrayed, to hope again after having our hopes dashed. It's the power to pick up the pieces again after having become disenchanted with the church and leaving it behind, perhaps for many, many years. You see, Easter celebrates the fact that Jesus conquered sin and death and wants to help us, you and me, to do the same. Jesus wants us to open our hearts to his grace, leave behind the past, accept his mercy and love, and taste again the joy of living in his presence. You see, last night, there were people from our RCIA who came into full communion of the Catholic Church. That's what they were seeking last night when they received the sacraments of initiation. If we open our hearts, we will find an Easter joy beyond anything we could ever have dreamt of. Why? Because Jesus is risen. He is risen indeed. Alleluia, alleluia.